People, I don't know why they're treating us as imbeciles.
Oh.
Ruto.
How so?
Ruto is treating Kenyans like imbeciles. The parliament thinks that we are demagogues. I don't know if they have a parliament. They defiled the decision that was made by the people of Kenya. We are dealing with a dictator. Ruto has betrayed Kenyans. Ruto has betrayed the people of Kenya. Ruto has betrayed Gachagua. The only person Ruto has not betrayed is the wife. I hope so. I mean, it was shameful. It was sad for some members of parliament waking up early in the morning to go to parliament to call Rigathi a tribalist. They should have started William Ruto. All the appointments, almost 50% of the appointments, government appointments, almost 50%, even where they don't merit. Some buffoons are appointed into offices that they don't deserve.
I will not allow, for example, my running mate or my deputy president to be humiliated by junior staff.
What gives him the idea that he can do as he wishes? This is not his personal house, this is not Sogoi. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip where Ruto has spoken truthfully.
A very good day to you this particular Friday. My name is Jadiel Kabiro. I hope you're having yourself a lovely day post yesterday's Mazingira holiday. I'm here with Philip Kisia. Philip Kisia is a leadership and governance expert, former Nairobi town clerk, ex-KICC CEO. We're going to talk about the situation in the country. Is this the fall of Rigathi Gachagua? Today, the High Court gave them a little bit of some reprieve by approving their motion or their case to have their case be listened to by the Chief Justice, and for the Chief Justice to form a three-bench of judges to listen to what they are calling unconstitutional way of impeaching him. Kisia, thanks for making time this particular Friday. I hope you're having a wonderful Furahi day. How are you?
Well, Jed, I'm okay. I had a good Mazingira day. I was invited by some friends in Limuru. And Jed, I would not have come here today because I was almost being lynched.
Ah.
Yes, in Limuru.
Why?
You know, I made a mistake of assuming that that is an area of people who are supporting the president. And they really tore me off. But a few of them recognized me and said, this is a guy who talks with that young man called Jed.
Yeah.
He's a good man. So, but they said, please, don't mention that name here in Limuru. We don't want to hear about that man. But thank God, this show not only saved my face, and, I would have been dead by now, and also I got a drink.
Tell us, good to start with Philip Kisia's highlights, so that in case there's something we've missed, you let us know what you're thinking about the country.
Jed, very interesting things are happening. One, last Sunday, actually, something was confirmed. Something very profound was confirmed. I saw President William Ruto at AIC Milimani Church, alone with the wife, with a few heads of people. And Milimani AIC is a beautiful church. It is always full. But I'm told when people heard that President William Ruto would be a guest, people kept off. A bad sign indeed. It actually confirms what I've always been saying, that somebody who was fairly popular barely 2 years ago, he is so unpopular, he is so hated by the same people. People hate the man. And it's not a very good sign. If I were the one, I would feel very uncomfortable. You know, people would follow you. Now you're alone. The only person who seems to still have some confidence and faith in you, which would be the case, is Mama Rachel. So Mama Rachel, keep up the good work. That one was very interesting to see. A man alone in church with the Bible. Then the other thing is, and let's look at betrayal. I don't know whether you've read this book or you read this book. I read it more than 40 years ago. More than 40, actually, 45. betrayal in the city by Francis Mbuga. The green grass in the snake, if you read that book. And I was wondering, how relevant is it? But when I looked at this video, and you must look for that video, Joe Ageo interviewing President Ruto, where he confirmed that in his presidency, if he ever became president, he will make sure that his principal assistant, who is the deputy president, will be treated with respect and decorum, and that junior officers will not harass and embarrass him. Barely 2 years in his presidency, look at what has happened. Rigathi has been mistreated. At least Uhuru Kenyatta gave him time. And even when we are told he mistreated him, I think the only thing that Uhuru did in his second term is to put brakes and close the pipes that were open in the first term. The pipes that were left open in the first term were completely shut by Uhuru Kenyatta. That's the only thing that Uhuru did. Just look for that video, man.
Now, supposing that you get elected in August, and somewhere down the road, 2 years, 3 years, you have a problem with your deputy, Rigathi Gachagua, for whatever reason, and you disagree completely, almost in the same manner that has happened right now, whichever direction it comes from. What are you going to do?
I want to tell you, Joe, that what you have said will never happen. It will not happen.
It doesn't just depend on you, sir.
I want to tell you that I will not allow, for example, my running mate or my deputy president to be humiliated by junior staff. I would not want a situation where clear responsibility. In fact, I have said it as much, and I have committed my.
He says he cannot let his assistant be treated the way he was. Look at us now, Kisia.
Look at him. Look at the way Rigathi is being treated. Being called names. Being abused. Being looked down upon. Being treated in a very uncivil manner. Barely 2 years into his presidency, you make your deputy president, your principal assistant, look so bad. It is sad. Jed, it is a sad state of affairs. And I can tell you, Jed, last week we said, what goes around comes around. President Ruto, before you go and meet your creator, you will go through the same treatment. I am not cursing you. I'm not cursing you, but I'm prophesizing. That will happen. Because the way you treat other people, expect the same treatment to be muted on you. And I can tell you, Jed, before he meets his creator, that will happen. The other thing that was, again, which, borders around betrayal. These people, the president and his government and parliament, have betrayed the people of Kenya. You saw what they did. People, I don't know why they're treating us as imbeciles. Ruto.
How so?
Ruto is treating Kenyans like imbeciles. The parliament thinks that we are demagogues. Parliament. I was in shock when I was following the proceedings in parliament. And the results were tabled. They are saying that over 60-something%, 66% of Kenyans voted yes, and only 33% voted no. It is the opposite. And I want you to look for this video where this young girl called Caro Chepto Embakasi West. Just look for that video and play it.
At least hata leo mumetukumbuka. Mutuitangi hizi vitu anyway. Leo mumekumbuka mayouth, mumekumbuka wananchi kwa sababu mko na mashida zenyu. Ingekuwa si impeachment, amungeita watu huku. mashida zetu pia. Alafu kabla isi na hiyo masaa mnasema tutoke hapa 5, kwanza mtupe chakula tushibe. Muko na pesa mtupe chakula tushibe ifike hiyo 5. Bila chakula tunatoka hapa saa 6 twende home. Mtuite tena tutoke saa 5 twende home. Mtuite tena tukose kukuja. Kwani nini? Na kama mnataka sasa mjue opinion yangu sasa. Opinion yangu kama Caroline Chemto. Kama Caroline Chemto. Hakuna mwenye anabaki.
She says mnatuita saa hii mkitutaka kwa mambo yenyu Kisia.
Yeah. That's a Gen Z speaking. They are saying you never see our worth. You only now want to misuse us to rubber stamp the process. And immediately, what did they do? And our overwhelming support in the entire plenary at Bomas. And Nairobi speaks for Kenya. When Nairobi speaks, Kenya speaks. When Nairobi sneezes, Kenya comes to a standstill.
Oh.
Nairobi spoke at Bomas, and they said no. In fact, what they did at Bomas of Kenya, they amended the motion that had been brought before them by Honorable Mutuse. Okay? He was relying on Article 144, Article 145, and of course Article 150 to table his motion of impeachment. But then Kenyans used the authority they have in the Constitution, the sovereign power they have, and Article 1, and then Article 2 to defend the Constitution. They amended the Constitution on the plenary, or in the plenary, and they said they want Ruto home, they want Gachagua home, they want Parliament home, they want governors home. That is the decision that was made by the people of the Republic of Kenya, at least from what I saw at Bomas of Kenya. And they are within their right, because the sovereign power is with the people. It is not with the President Ruto or Parliament. So if that power lays within the people, I want to believe that they can do anything. And they did it, and they said it, and they affirmed it. Then even what was more interesting, and maybe if you get that video again, it's a 1-minute video, you'll play it. In Honorable Moses Masika Wetangula, Kapchai constituency, where Honorable Kalasinga is a member of parliament, he took the motion to the people. In Wetangula's constituency, he took the motion. Wetangula is the Speaker of the National Assembly, Jed. What did the people at Kapuchai pass? The people at Kapuchai said, you see what? We say, the vote that you are holding is our vote. The vote. You are not allowed to vote yes. Go and vote no. And he asked again, what are you saying? The people of Kapuchai said, go and tell Moses Masika. No. And then, what happens? Parliament.
Mimi ni mjumbe wenu, nitapika kura kwa niaba yenu, kura moja. Nataka mnitume. Mkinituma Jumanne saa 1 ya jioni, mnataka nipike no ama yes? No. Nipike no ama yes? No. Wale wanasema nipike no, beba mkono juu. Na mchukue hiyo picha kama mnataka, kwa sababu hiyo ndio kura ya Kabuchai.
I don't know if they have a parliament. They defiled the decision that was made by the people of Kenya. So I've given you 2 scenarios in Nairobi and where Masika comes from. What people said, not me. They made a ruling. Then you defile the decision that has been made by the people. Then you exchange the results. Then you think we are imbeciles. You think we are idiots. You think we are stupid. For heaven's sake. Even when you want to steal or lie, you need some form of intelligence. These people have no intelligence at all. They are just tumbocrats. But you see, Jed, I was not surprised that what happened. Those are Moi era and Kanu tactics. You remember, you cannot remember because Jed, you are not even, your parents have not even thought about it.
Come on.
Jed, come on. You see, it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
There was something called Mulolongo. Now, you have Jed here, very popular man, and behind Jed, there are 10,000 people. They are saying, this is the man. Then you have Philip here, Kisia, with only 10 fellows.
Yeah.
Do you know what they do? They remove me from this line of tempo, they put me here quickly, and they remove you and they put to this side, and they say these are the results. And they take pictures. These are the results. Mulolongo.
So this is what we've seen.
These guys did Mulolongo in parliament. Where did they get this? Maybe to that, I don't know. Where are those people? Because all the clips everywhere, the information we were getting from the ground is that people said once, they amended the motion. They amended and they say, these characters must all go home. But again, you see, we are dealing with a dictator who is controlling parliament. He's controlling parliament. We have no parliament. He is controlling the executive. He is controlling, I hope he has not extended his control to the Senate. Senate seems to be a bit independent. He is having challenges controlling the Supreme Court of Kenya. That is where our hope lies. But I'm telling you, Jed, we are dealing with a dictator. Ruto has betrayed Kenyans. Ruto has betrayed the people of Kenya. Ruto has betrayed Gachagua. The only person Ruto has not betrayed is the wife. I hope so. But for Gachagua, even going to parliament, it was just a process. The die had been cast. You are going where there are MPs. Decisions are made. Them, they were just waiting to vote like voting machines. Nothing was going to happen in that parliament. You know, they left their brains at home. All of them. Apart from the 44 and a few others. The rest left their brains at home and probably carried the stomachs and the hands that carry that vote to vote. But I can tell you, that was Mulolongo playing back from the 80s, Mulolongo, where the popular decisions are overturned and made unpopular.
Let's take a look at this fall of Gachagua, if it will actually fall. The Deputy President's motion of impeachment, of course, has brought a lot of conversations within Kenya's political sphere. And my conversation today with Philip Kisia is all about what next for Rigathi Gachagua. How should he deal with Senate? How should he deal with the judiciary? And you see, what is the future for the country without the Deputy President, and who is likely to come as our next Deputy President? Kisia, first, you listened to Rigathi Gachagua's defense in Senate. How effective in the National Assembly? How effective was it, and what strategies, if they're going to have different strategies, should he use when it comes to Senate?
Jed, I must admit, and I'm not saying I'm a fan of Rigathi, not at all, but give him credit. He prepared well for his presentation and defense in Parliament, knowing that already the die had been cast, but he prepared well. And give Parliament a bit of credit. You know, they listened to him, but they were not listening. This is what my late father-in-law, Honorable Mangani, would say, is just a stone. That Rigathi Gachagua was addressing stones in Parliament. They were stones. They were not human beings. So, you know, when you're addressing a stone, you're the one who's listening to yourself. The stone cannot listen. But so, I felt sorry for the man, because these are guys who have already made their decision, but they were buying 2 hours, because from what we hear, it is alleged that they received something, an envelope, before they went into the chambers.
500,000 said that in the morning.
500? Yeah. Okay. You can imagine why they stayed on until late. Normally, when they're discussing serious national matters, you have a parliament with 30 people, 40 people. This time they were over, they didn't even have places to sit. But let me tell you, if you listen to Rigathi, although he's addressing stones, he prosecuted the matter very well. I'll just pick a few things that Rigathi brought up. Rigathi said, listen, is there a crime in making wealth? This is the wealth I've made, this is how I've made it. Then I said, okay, if indeed you even find that there's evidence that there's wrongdoing, that is accumulated his wealth using unorthodox methods, corrupt methods, what about his boss?
No.
Yes, what about his boss? Jed, there's a court ruling. Why are you pretending that as if nothing has happened? Why? You know Royland?
Yeah.
What has the court said? It must revert back to public. The man had taken that land. What the court is a court ruling, Jed.
Yes.
Where our CEO is supposed to go. He had taken that land, Jed. He had taken the land.
Yeah.
You know, this is a man, surely. Why can't you take something else? Even where our CEO is supposed to go, you're taking it. The courts have said, revert that. So, in a civilized jurisdiction, that alone is enough to impeach the president. That public land made for public use, for this matter, for sewerage, you are grabbing it. Shame. It's shameful. Then there was the other thing of, we talk about conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Okay? The Auditor General, not Philip Kisia. Sometimes you say it's Philip. No, it's not Philip Kisia. Philip Kisia, like you, he reads. Didn't we read in the papers that Western Hotel, where he has an interest, it is also sitting on public land, but most disturbing is that all government business is going to Western Hotel. So if you are saying that Rigathi Gachagua is a beneficiary of government tenders, what is different with this particular one? The one thing that also Rigathi brought up very well, Rigathi said, you know what, I've learned from my boss. If you are saying that calling out the DG, NIS for being incompetent is impeachable, and that I made so a big mistake, and I must be impeached on that account, then even the president should be impeached. We have seen him calling out public servants. We have seen him calling out his own cabinet secretaries. We have seen him calling out even, even if pretends he has forgotten him. What do you call that man? What do you call that man? That DCI, that Kinoti, writing us long letters. That DCI, that IG police, incompetent. If that indeed was a ground to impeach Rigathi Gachagua, William Ruto must be impeached on this particular one. The last one, and where even Rigathi Gachagua, because he's just a PA, it's like a PA, he's just a principal assistant. Waiting, reading newspapers, like I have newspapers here, Jed, reading, and then he was given assignments, assigned. Okay? William Ruto, look at all the appointments. In fact, I mean, it was shameful, it was sad for some members of parliament waking up early in the morning to go to parliament to call Rigathi a tribalist. They should have started William Ruto. All the appointments, almost 50% of the appointments, government appointments, almost 50%, even where they don't merit. Some buffoons are appointed into offices that they don't deserve.
I would like to understand, Kisia, what do you mean in terms of, if the president has made a mistake and he hasn't been held accountable, does this mean no one in government should be held accountable because the president hasn't been? Is this what
you're saying? 1 second. Nah, come on, Jed. What is your moral standing? Moral standing. Do you have a moral standing? To accuse Jed of corruption? To accuse Jed of nepotism and tribalism? When you yourself, you have no moral ground to make that accusation. You have no moral ground. It's about morality. It's about chapter 6.
He who has sinned cannot call others
How
sinners.
You're a sinner, a total sinner. You are a total sinner. And you're pointing a finger at the other sinner. So, Jed, what we are saying is that it is unfortunate, it is sad that what we saw in Parliament it's not even a parliament, it's a kangaroo house where there are just some voting machines and there are puppets and there are strings being pulled from State House. That is what is happening in the 13th August House. But let me also, Jed, very quickly look at this thing, because you look at the context.
Yeah.
Rigathi made mistakes. The 3 mistakes, there are more, but I just picked out on 3 because of time, Jed. The first one was to sell this shareholders agenda. It was not his agenda. It was William Ruto's agenda. William Ruto is the one who signed with the people. He signed with the Wetangula Masika. He signed with the son of Substone. He signed with Kingi. He was signing shares. He was the one who was assigning shares. Why, Rigathi, my friend, why were we so stupid to carry somebody's burden? Why, Rigathi? Mistake number. The second mistake, again, I think it's sort of naive, being naive.
Yeah.
Yeah? Let me not be too harsh on him because he's going through some turbulence. I would have called him stupid. Yeah. But let me say naive.
You would have.
I would have. But because going through hard times.
You haven't.
No, I haven't. He's going through hard times. I'll be a bit soft on him.
Yeah.
Him agreeing to be the attack dog. He was like my Zeus. Attack dog. Why? Why did you agree to be used as an attack dog? That it was not your fight. You should have been like a good, and you went through Moise training. You would have been like a good principal sitter. You just sit there, you don't comment, you don't say anything. The last one, and there are many, is the issue of trust, Jed. Trusting somebody like William Ruto, who has a record of betraying people. He is not truthful. He has never been. He is not a man you can trust. He is not a man, when you're dealing with him, you should not even blink. Because the consequences can be severe.
Okay.
You cannot even blink. But now, you talked about the Senate. We're going to Senate. Let me tell you, Jed, there are 3 stages that Rigathi has going through. The first one is going through Parliament or the kangaroo court. They tried to hang him by the rope until he dies. He didn't die. He cut the rope and he fell down. Now he's headed to the Senate. In the Senate, they have prepared an electric seat for him. Gachagua, as you go to Senate, know there's an electric seat. Find the switch and switch it off because it will electrocute you. The numbers are not looking very good because people have been spoken to already. I'm hoping that sometimes Senate is, because it's like actually a quasi-judicial process. And therefore they'll interrogate this motion. They will look at facts and evidence. And even the accusers will have to come and be interrogated and be cross-examined. I'm hoping that our Senate will look at this on merit and they will not allow to be controlled like puppets from State House. But even if that does, if it does happen, my advice to Rigathi would be talk less. If you're being cross-examined, yes, allow your lawyers to deal with this because you are dealing with a quasi-judicial process. Don't spend your time again telling us what you told us in Parliament. Leave it to your lawyers. Again, if you find that they have been compromised, find the switch of the electric seat and switch it off, and then leave Senate. And immediately, go and knock. In fact, your lawyers must be ready with documentation. File the case in Supreme Court. Now, why am I saying that? Because Supreme Court is the only place that there's no executive doesn't have a sway. That's the only place. Although there's a guillotine machine there waiting for him again, but it's fair. It's fair. I want to believe that the Supreme Court, if they find that the processes, it was unconstitutional, that they didn't follow procedure, that this thing is unconstitutional, that they will declare it null and void. And then Rigathi can walk back to his office. At that point, I'll now advise my friend Rigathi to prepare a statement resigning from this, because it's not tenable. Because even if he's saved at the Supreme Court, which is likely to happen, I am now saying, if he now wants to live with his head high, if he now wants, because he's now controlling a sizable number of Kenyans, others, just feel sorry for him. But I can tell you, Rigathi and Jed, from what I saw in Limuru yesterday, the man has become so popular. So, do what? Draft a good letter of resignation, make a powerful speech, and you know what? Together with the letter of appointment, attach them and send them to William Ruto and say, keep your job.
To hell.
Bloody hell. Go to hell with your job. I can do better things for Kenyans.
Yeah.
Okay? So my advice at this point, Jed, is that Rigathi should focus his energies at the Supreme Court. Because even at the Senate, this guillotine machine has been prepared. And, it will be interesting to watch this one.
Talk to me then about Senate's decision to go the plenary way as opposed to a special committee way. Some are thinking we need transparency, we need fairness, we need to see an outcome that reflects the will of the people. Will plenary work better for Rigathi?
I think, well, you can look at it in two ways. Because, see, constitutionally, this office falls vacant, I think, 14 days from the day Parliament pass a vote of impeachment motion, right?
Yes.
So there's 14 days window, which Senate must pronounce itself. Otherwise, then, it can be assumed that the decision of Parliament takes,
Presidents and...
yeah, So what? Because I think there are a few days left. How many are left days to the 14 days? Are there 7 or 6?
I think 7.
They're about.
Yeah.
Okay? So I still have some little hope in Senate. And I think it was tactical. But you can look at it in two ways. That when Senator Sifuna came and made a pronouncement, I would say that this matter is weighty. Is weighty, completely weighty. And therefore, I am not seconding the motion. Okay? Because it has attracted a lot of public interest. And we cannot allow a situation where 11 people, men and women, will be put in a room who can be compromised, very easily compromised, take charge of this process. Make a decision that will be rubber stamped by Senate. What he's saying is that bring this thing to the plenary so that more than 11 people can interrogate, can debate, can make decision, one after every count. Count number 1. Is he guilty? Yes or no? Count number 2 up to 11. So I suspect that was, and again, I think the minority side wants to remove itself from blame. Saying, you know what? You can see we made every effort to ensure that the process was fair.
Yeah.
Okay? That we gave him a hearing. That we also listened to the people of Kenya and made this thing open. And we reduced the chances of brown envelopes only ending to 11 people.
I was going to ask you that.
Ending to 11 people.
Is that a reason? Could
Yeah,
that
yes. So
it's easier to
you see,
manipulate 11.
It's easier. 11 people. 11 people. And you know the stakes were so high, Jed.
Yeah.
If you even decided to do 4 million, 5 million per, how much is it?
11 times 55.
55 million. That can be done. Because you see, what is 55 million shillings? This is money they steal in 1 hour. They are thieves, they steal in 1 hour. Yeah. So 1 hour, money earned through thievery can be given to these people.
You said something interesting. Do you think Senate will look at this case logically and pragmatically, other than what we saw in the National Assembly?
I can tell you for sure. In the Senate, and let's give it to a Senate, there are people who are sober, extremely sober, from both sides, but particularly from the minority side. There are also a few from the majority side who are sober, who will look at this thing on merit, who will interrogate, who will take time. Okay? So I am happy that in the Senate, which is a quasi-judicial process, that even the accusers will be there to be asked questions. And I can tell you Jed, you will see drama. There are characters who were forced to sign some documents, affidavits, and they'll be cross-examined. And I know some of the lawyers representing, these are senior counsel like Mwite. You will see fellows sweating in the Senate. You will see fellows unable to answer questions in the Senate. But again, it's voting. You've seen some of those characters in the Senate, removing shoes and displaying their shoes, and very untidy things. That's the Senate. So give it to Senate. There's still some little hope in Senate. And if they do a thorough job, Rigathi is very likely to do what? To be set free. If he does that one, I'm saying if the Senate now finds that the charges, are not weighty enough to warrant an impeachment, okay, and they vote no, majority, I will still advise my friend Rigathi. I know he's my friend because I met him once or twice. Again, I met him in Ruto's office when Ruto was deputy. I would advise him to prepare a very good letter of resignation after he had been proved not guilty.
Okay.
Prepare a beautiful letter, plus a letter of appointment, shove it to William Ruto, say, keep your bloody job.
Sometimes
keep your bloody job.
People
I don't need your job.
People argue that staying in that office protects you from political witch hunts that come.
No, what witch hunts? This man is living with the people. William Ruto is a lame duck. You can see he's a lame duck. In fact, people are blaming my party leader. They are saying, you saved this man. The Gen Z, by now Gen Z would have removed him from the office. It's a fact. It's a fact. By now, Gen Z, he'll be out of office. They would have done what they did to the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. They would have done what they did to Bashir. Actually, even Bashir was removed by women. Women just went and removed him from State House. They get out, get out, get out. Gen Z would have been even dramatic. They would have been dramatic. So this guy, they would not even have allowed him to take a helicopter.
Do you think
he would have been frog marched to Sugoi? So
without Raila,
my party leader, people are blaming, and he knows it. Probably that's why he has not talked to me for 2 months. I'm looking for him. I want to ask him questions. He must tell me. He must tell me what is going on.
If you continue speaking the way you are, he will not meet you.
He's my friend, and he's my party leader. He can't avoid me because I'm waiting for a signal. The signal must come from the party leader. He is the one to give us direction. So I'm saying, my party leader, Raila Amolo Odinga, I respect you, and I respect you. Give me a signal. You have not given me a signal. And therefore, I'll keep on interrogating these matters until we sit down, have a conversation, and you explain in detail why this direction. Because this man should have been out of office by now.
Do you think without Raila's influence, Rigathi Gachagua might not have been impeached in the National Assembly?
Would they have got the 2/3?
Would they?
No, how? How? They would have got half maybe. But 2/3 they would not have got. I can tell you for certain, they will not have got the numbers. But now, it was like a voting machine. Decided. You're accusing Rigathi of small little things. Yet there are bigger things that you can... So I'm waiting, and I'm happy, Jed, that Parliament has set a very high standard for impeachment. Also, let's look at the flip side of it. They have set high standard.
How?
So, high standard. Because they're saying Rigathi just sold a few kilos of sugar. And now, the big thief, Adani. Okay?
Yeah.
This insurance thing, 104, that is a theft. Now, I am hoping that now, after they're done with Rigathi, and my friend at Otiendo said, there'll be a crisis, that because we don't have IBC. Go to hell, man. Go to hell. We can constitute all these things within the shortest time possible and have a team IBC. It is actually Ruto's scheme not to have IBC. So that what can happen? So that there is chaos, so that there's confusion, so that nothing happens. Okay? So, Otiende Amolo, my own lawyer, who I respect very much, telling me or telling the Kenyans that, let's just deal with this one, but let us spare the big thief. Why go for this petty thief, the pickpocket, the petty thief, and we leave the guy who is doing the job, stealing billions? That's the guy who should have gone.
Talk to me then about the place of public participation. Of course, you had mentioned, but what lessons can be drawn from what we saw Kenyans on our television platforms and our social media platforms saying Kufa Makanga, Kufa Dereva, versus what Suba MP Millie Odhiambo brought? 65% Kenyans pro Gachagua's ouster, 33% opposing it. How can we have transparency when it comes to these engagements in the future? Because now everyone is thinking, well, what we saw on TV isn't what was reflected in the report.
Jed, it's not even about transparency. This thing was transparent. I think what we need, first of all, is a clear law on what actually entails when it comes to public participation. Okay? We need to have a proper law. For example, in 2022, about 14 million Kenyans went to vote. Okay? Can we have, and even I doubt that 160,000 people who returned forms. Can 160,000 people participating in that process be a good sample to say, okay, now Kenyans have said yes or no? I think we need to have proper public participation. We need, when you say public participation, and they have not even gone through some civic education, they don't know, they have not even interrogated the motion. The motion just brought over at night, and in the morning you're told to, you've not interrogated. Somebody has not taken you through. You have not even given the person being accused an opportunity to say something about the accusation. So there is need to have a review of this thing we're calling public participation. It should not be a rubber stamp. Currently, it's just a process.
Formality.
A formality to rubber stamp, to sanitize all these things that they want to do, including stealing public resources. Stealing. They say, oh, we carry out public participation. They have 20, 30 people in a room who are paid to attend. They sign, they take photos, say, oh, we had... So this public participation thing needs to be given meaning. It must be given meaning going forward. Okay? But I can tell you, even with the few who participated, Jed, you saw the outcome. What made all this thing look terrible is the fact that even the guys who, when you're conflicted, how can you oversee a process? MPs, the same guys who had voted for the motion, 291, they're the same who went to the constituency and saying, we're organizing public participation. You're conflicted.
Oh, yeah.
Shouldn't we have had proper organization where people are independent, completely independent, come and organize this public participation so that the results, the outcome is believable? Right now, I'm told even the forms, they were just filling the forms and returning. The forms are not even serialized. This thing was, I mean, you surely, even if, for heaven's sake, that the Ruto administration Parliament thinks that Kenyans are idiots. Please, treat us with some little respect.
So we need some independence.
Treat Kenyans with respect. You are treating Kenyans with contempt. And where Kenyans are, the corner that you're putting Kenyans, what they did on 25th of June would be worse. It will be worse. You had pushed Kenyans, you bottled Kenyans. Kenyans, they came out. Jed, I don't know if you've experienced a pressure cooker. When it,
the pressure is too high inside.
Pressure is too high. And what happens? It blows up.
Yes.
It blows up. It happened on 25th of June. The day it happens again, and it may happen very soon, a number of religious leaders have already predicted that this thing is likely to happen. Jed, when it happens, Jed, nobody will be spared.
Maybe you've told me about the likelihood of Senate impeaching Gachagua. What is Ruto's gameplay in the future? after, say, Gachagua has been impeached, what do you think Ruto will be considering when it comes to realignments, alignments, and moving forward towards 2027?
You know, Ruto is a wounded duck, wounded animal, lion. So he's in a corner. The only guy who has been giving him a bit of energy is Raila, who has come to his rescue. Okay? So going forward, and this one you can take to the bank, you wait and see the person he appoints as a deputy. He will not appoint somebody who is strong enough to face him and tell him, as your principal assistant, I would advise 1, 2, 3. He will go for a yes man or a yes woman. Somebody who will just feel good being in the office of the deputy president. Just a feel good.
Yeah.
Flower girl, you know, this thing, eh?
Yeah.
Just flower girl. So everything, you know, just flower girl. Be there to earn a salary and with zero powers. You know, Rigathi will tell him, up yours, man. The one who is coming will be so weak. People are throwing names here and there, but all the names you can see, is the people who are being proposed are not people who are tough. People who can show the middle finger and tell him to go to hell.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, the other thing, I'm sure intelligence have told him. And from the little experience I had in Limuru, the ground is bad in Central. And Central, people are saying, keep the job. In fact, that job, give it to your wife. We are not interested. We don't want that stupid job of yours. Take it. Give it to your, by the time people are telling you that we don't even want that useless, shitty job, just go and give it to your wife. People are tired of you. So I can tell you, it doesn't matter what Ruto does to buttress the people from Central Province. People from Central Province have made a decision. They are saying this guy is not the guy we voted for in 2022. That's what they told me yesterday. This is not the guy. We are dealing with a different animal. And we apologize to Uhuru Kenyatta because Uhuru warned us. But we decided to vote against him. But he had warned us. He said, this man, this one, you will regret. The Kikuyus are regretting because their businesses have been destroyed. Everything, their leaders who had a future destroyed. Everything at the center destroyed. Yeah? The policies that this government is coming up with, who is it hurting most? People from Central Kenya. Okay? So, it doesn't matter what William Ruto does. The die is cast from Central. They are done with him. It's a fait accompli. It's done. They have washed their hands. So what he's likely to do, and you know, the Murima, one thing that you must give them credit, when they decide on something, they come heavy. They come, you know, they really come strong.
Yeah.
They don't need to be bribed to vote. Give that to Central Province. They vote because they believe in something. Okay? How much money did Ruto use on Central? They, you know, maybe just going around and making noise. But in terms of making a decision, Central makes a decision without being influenced by small little money. So, and when they know they're under attack, I can tell you, they come together. And if they are likely to come together, they'll put their weight on somebody. So Ruto is alive to that fact. So what is he trying to do? He's trying to buttress my party leader, hoping that he get this AU job.
Yeah.
He is trying to fill in the hole using votes from Western Kenya, Nyanza, and Kisia, Coast, and so on and so forth. Okay? The only challenge that he's going to have is that people from those regions, yeah, you know, you really need to work so hard to get them out to vote. I can tell you, Jed, they're not like Kikuyus. So, while Kikuyus will come out to revenge, and they will come out in big numbers, these characters in the other areas will hardly come out in big numbers. Because number one, what is there to motivate them to vote? Okay? What would be there to motivate people from Western Kenya to come out and vote?
Yeah.
Nyanza, maybe they'll vote because of Raila. But even then, you saw, Nyanza, even in the last election, almost over 600,000 voters. When their man was in the ballot, their own man, they failed to come out to vote. So if their man is not in the ballot, what will happen?
Yeah.
So, okay. So he's, I think, playing, hoping that he can get other regions to support him and to fill in the hole.
But that's a gamble.
I mean, it's a gamble, and I can tell you, Jed, it's an uphill task. Because even those other regions, yeah, he has to convince people like me and others, that he's up to good behavior, that he's not an ill-mannered boy, and we have seen him, the things we are going through.
Yeah.
It would be hard to convince us. It would be very hard. How will he do it? He will need a miracle. Don't you think so?
Thanks for tuning into that conversation with Philip Kisia and Philip Kisia Unscripted, all about Rigathi Gachagua's predicaments. What do you think is the future for Rigathi Gachagua? Just as always, Philip Kisia, final thoughts as we wrap up Furahi Day.
Jed, I don't know. I think time seems to be moving so fast. I don't know when we're here. Now, I think I want to caution Kenyans that the man that we see in the name of William Samoei Ruto his administration has killed over 70 children of ours, and others that still cannot be accounted for. Others have been maimed. And he wants us to forget. He is now killing multi-party democracy. While people are busy trying to survive, multi-party is being crushed. He has taken this opportunity to consolidate himself and promote corrupt projects like the Adanis, like paying 104 billion on a system, collapsing our education system that was working, getting all the priorities wrong. Jed, in closing, there are two videos that I want you to quickly play. It's a minute. Look for that video, my good friend PLO Lumumba. Look for that video.
Going to spend millions of shillings now in the process of impeachment of the deputy president, going around the country to ask us whether the deputy president is guilty or not guilty. Who among them is without sin? The sins that they are accusing the deputy president of, each one of them, almost without exception. I would have wanted my parliament to discuss the economic situation. But I can guarantee you, if it is not in our lifetime, if this continues, this country is going to pay. And that could be the revolution that will change things. That if we are not careful, it could become worse before it becomes better.
He says a revolution is beckoning.
PLO has said it, but he was not very firm. I am saying that there is a revolution in the offing. You can try and bottle people, but the pressure is building. The pressure is really building, and that thing will blow up. The pressure cooker is going to blow, and it's going to blow on his face. There's a revolution in the offing. The Gen Z, millennials, and now their parents are going to join them. The other one that I want you to, which I found very interesting, is this video by, I think, Reverend Kiama. Is it Kiama?
Tony Kiama.
Tony, yes.
I think it has come to a time where our church elders, our church fathers have to come to a place of just basic acknowledging that tulikosea. What we did was wrong. The Bible says the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. John 10:10. And I repeat, the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And this government has stolen, it has killed, and it has destroyed the economy. So for sure, hii ni serikali ya shetani. Ukweli. Ukweli tu tuseme.
They must accept as a clergy what they did for Kenyans.
The clergy who misled Kenyans. Because Kenyans believe in religion. Kenyans are very religious. Therefore, what comes from the clergy is like gospel truth. One of their own, Reverend Kiama, has said they misled Kenyans and they must apologize. Thank God for the church I go to, Nairobi Chapel, they're straight.
Yeah.
But these are the guys who misled Kenyans. They know themselves. I don't want to name them by name, but they know. And if you listened to a reverend, because you've heard the video, he says what? He's made reference to John 10:10.
Yes.
He said, this is a bad government.
Yeah.
The Ruto government is a bad government. They have come to do what? John 10:10, to steal. They are stealing our resources through projects, and done useless things. Okay? They even want to sell our heritage. They want to sell our state corporations. They are thieves. They want to steal. They are doing what? They are killed. It's a bad government. It's killing. They have killed our children. Haven't they?
Yeah.
Why are you pretending?
Gen Zs, we saw.
Yeah, they have killed our children. And others that cannot be accounted for. Finally, they have destroyed. They are destroying Kenya. They are destroying our future. They have destroyed our children. They have destroyed the economy. They have destroyed everything. The only thing they are yet to destroy, and which we are coming for Jed, is their systems above the West. You can see most of them cannot even walk. But we are coming. And soon, we are going to fire. We shall fire. And we shall make sure we fire until they die.
Thanks for tuning into that conversation. Pastor Philip Kisia with me. John 10:10, the thief comes only to kill, steal, and to destroy. Well, it's a good conversation. What do you think about our conversation for today? Fall of Rigathi Gachagua. Do you think this is his actual end? And will he be saved by the Senate or the 3-judge bench by Chief Justice Martha Koome? Till we do talk again, have yourself a lovely rest of your day.
What gives him the idea that he can do as he wishes? This is not his personal house. This is not so going. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip where Ruto has spoken truthfully.